the great Brian Baldinger, Blake's new friend, joins us. Good afternoon, sir.
What do you say, guys? How are you?
I am Dan. This is Jake.
Dan?
And you know...
Jake? I know Jake, yeah.
You know little Blake.
Yeah.
Little Blake over there. I don't think he's little, but Blake. We were together last Thursday. We had a good time last Thursday, man.
How'd those
Rain
pictures turn out?
Big lightning bolts out there in the skies in South Philadelphia. We endured it all.
I told them the story of following you around, getting you some good pictures. I hope you liked them. I took a ton of them for you, with you and the players on the field.
I appreciate that, Blake. Yeah, no, that was good. Baldy's walk before they came. Hadn't done a Cowboys game in a long time, so it was good to see Brad Sham and some of the guys that Mickey Spagnola and some of the guys that I've known for a long time.
Were they there when you were there?
Yeah.
Damn.
Brad was doing games. Brad wasn't doing games yet, but he was doing radio back then, KRLD. And Mickey was there doing Cowboy Weekly and all that stuff. So a bunch of those guys. Bucky, the equipment manager, his dad signed me as a free agent. So Bucky is still there in the equipment room there. So there's some lifelong friends in that building.
Boy, back then. So I saw you're an undrafted free agent. How many rounds were in the draft back then?
12 rounds. But
okay.
My rookie year, they had a bunch of extra picks. They actually had 15 rookies they drafted that year. We signed 110 free agents. So we had 125 rookies back in 1982. So it was a little different world back then.
Yeah, so the odds had to be extremely long for you to make that team.
Yeah, but I just decided that they're going to have to throw me out of there in order to get rid of me. So they actually lost my luggage on the flight out there to Thousand Oaks training camp. So I said, screw it, I'll just wear the same thing every day. So I just wore the same thing every single day for 6 weeks. And then I said, if things don't work out, I'll grab my suitcase that I haven't opened yet, and I'll go down and see my sisters in Long Beach. So things worked out for me, fortunately. And
you played for Landry. You were blocking for Tony Dorsett.
Yeah.
It
was legendary, man. They were our games were on CBS every Sunday, and Madden and Summerall were in the building over on Forest Lane, and it was the place to be in the league. I mean, nobody was getting more attention on a 3 network channel back then than the Dallas Cowboys. So it was a fun place to be. It was Randy White and Dorsett and Drew Pearson, and we had it was a lot of fun back then. I still remember those days and still have really good friends from that time in Dallas.
You did not have a White House, though, right? Like the 90s Cowboys.
White House, but we didn't need a White House. I mean, it was a young, fun city, man. There was action everywhere. It's just
the city was your White House.
Night of the week, it was up to you if you were going to study the playbook or go out. It was tempting every night, but there was a balance between all of it. Dallas always had a good nightlife.
And is Dallas where your pinky finger ended up going, perpendicular to where it should be?
It got caught in Randy White's jersey one day, just got ripped out and ended up, taping it up. And, the guys welcomed me to the club. Everybody had bad fingers. Randy White, too tall. Harvey Martin, they all had, crooked fingers. So they said, welcome to the club, Baldy. Like, you're one of us now. So I felt like I got my, my manhood, belt that day, when that happened.
As we jump around from the past to the present, we had no idea what to expect with Brian Schottenheimer and then Clayton Adams, an offensive line coach. I got pretty fired up about him from Baldy's breakdowns, though, and I feel like Game 1 didn't disappoint. It's been a bit boring offensively around here. Even McCarthy's run game was just it was pretty vanilla. Even the biggest fans of McCarthy. And now it feels like we have this really interesting run game. There was a lot going on. Just your takeaways from Game 1 of Clayton Adams as the OC, because as a fan, I got pretty excited that it looked different than it has in a long time.
Well, I guess the one disappointing thing was we didn't get a chance to see Jaden Blue. I was really excited to see him. Now, we saw everybody else. And so, they mixed it up pretty good. I thought the rookie played really well. Tyler Booker, I was hoping he was going to go up against Jalen Carter. I really wanted to see that matchup. But I talked to Tyler before the game. He's got the right mentality. to fit in there. And, he's a really smart kid, and he takes the game really seriously. He's going to be a really good player. But, Guyton played pretty good. I thought, look, Dak played great. I mean, catch the ball, they win the game. So CD knows, it's just too many drops at key spots in the game. But I thought they played well up front. Philadelphia went out and signed pass rushers and corners, all this stuff. I mean, they didn't get any rush on Dak. And so that's always a sign that the line played pretty good. I'm a fan of Brian Schottenheimer's. My brother played for his dad in Kansas City. My other brother played there as well. I know Marty forever. And, Brian's a disciple, and Marty's brother, was a coach in this league for a long time. They're a football family, man. There's no system that he can't coach. There's no innovation that's out there that he can't recognize. So I don't know. I think there's going to be, I thought Kellen Moore was great the year that he was there. I have to be honest with you. But that was just 1 year. So, or I guess maybe just 1 year. I forget. But anyways, I think Brian's going to be fine. That was encouraging what they did last week, and they get the Giants team coming to town that, that was god awful, just awful on offense. Defensively, they played pretty good. They kept them in the game all game last week. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, they were really good. But, offensively, they were a mess. So, I think that what they see this week should be a much different Giant team. So they'll probably get the best of whatever the Giants are with Russell Wilson before they make the switch to the next, to the rookie.
So sticking with this current team, I know you were really, really excited to talk to Tyler Booker. What do you love about him? I know it's more off the field stuff, right? He's a good leader, but also, I think he played pretty well there in week 1.
Well, I'll just give you an example. They have the offensive line masterminds in Frisco every year. Duke Manyweather, a lot of guys train up there. So I see Tyler Smith, Tyler Biotis, all these guys have been through there. But the kid's he's going into his last year at Alabama, and he's at the offensive line masterminds. The whole line, he paid for everybody to come. He had 6 linemen there sitting in the front row with notebooks, taking notes. This is July. Training camp starts in Alabama in less than a month. But he's there in the front row taking notes, asking me to break down the Georgia games. What do you see, Baldy? We'd love to hear your input. He's just a student of the game. He knows who Zach Martin is. He knows who Nate Newton is. He knows the history of the Cowboys and of great offensive lines. Kevin Gogan. I wouldn't be surprised if he could tell you when Kevin Gogan played and what number he wore for, I'm just going through the history. The guy is interested in all of it. And so I think, and then he's got ability. He's built he's square. He's on balance. He knows how to change up his protections already, when to short set, when to get off. Stunt set might be coming. I think he knows how to prepare. He's just a good student of the game. He's a great kid, and he's serious. He's serious-minded. You're never going to have to ever worry about Tyler Booker, ever. He's just going to be right where he needs to be, day in, day out. And he's just going to be one of those, pros that, just like Zach was. You probably won't even know he's there for much of the time, because he's not going to probably commit a bunch of penalties and give up a bunch of bad plays.
Is that something that you sound pretty passionate about that? I'm wondering, is that something that teams don't scout enough or have enough of an idea about when they're coming out of college?
Well, I guess that falls into the bin of character. He's got no character flaws, none. So you just have to spend 5 minutes with him and you realize it. The guy's really smart, really articulate, knows how to prepare. So do you miss on some of that stuff? For sure. You get overridden by talent, by certain games. Sometimes you get sucked in man, that guy pitched a no-hitter against, Jared Verse. He's going to be a great player. You could go back in college and look at and talk yourself into some of these guys. And then you could sit in a room with them and you could talk football with them and you can find out, what makes them tick, and what their interest is. And so, when their interest is football, and just being a good person, usually you don't go wrong with those guys.
Something that Greg Olson mentioned on an interview that I saw him do recently is he transitioned from being in the league to being in the booth. He was just talking up one of his favorite parts of being in this job is getting to talk to GMs and coaches and learn about their process and how it all works together. but that through that he realized that I think he said something like half the teams he talked to, these people are just bullshitting their way through it, I think is kind of the way he put it. So I'm not asking obviously for any names, anything like that, but Blake was telling me just how respected you are. You're walking around and guys are like, hey, I'm waiting for a Baldy's breakdown on me. It's obvious people respect you for what you do. And I imagine they kind of want, when they talk to you, to show off even a little bit and to sound as if they do have their operation together. What do you think of that idea that there is, there are teams in the league that are kind of just running around with their heads cut off?
Well, I mean, there's, at the end of the day, there's 8 teams that are competing for the prize, and everybody else is shuffling the deck at some point. So, they're not complete teams and they're not built the right way. And there are mistakes that are being made. And, and it starts with the owner in most cases. And, how the owner operates sometimes dictates who they hire and how they operate. So there's certainly, I don't know if it's 50% of the league the way Greg suggested, but Greg's not wrong. There's a lot of imposters out there, but I try to maintain good discourse with the guys that I know are serious about the game and are really good evaluators from the front office standpoint. And then the coaches, they kind of separate themselves. I mean, the difference in this whole business is coaching. So you could take a look at the Washington Commanders that were dreadful for most of the last 2 decades, and Dan Quinn comes in with a good staff, and they get the right quarterback and the right GM, and they turn it around in literally 6 months. And I don't think they're going to have a bad year this year or next year or the year after. They know what they're doing. And so it starts at the top, and they got a new owner up there, and things are done a different way. And you could go organization through organization. You could look at it, just how congruent it is or discongruent it is, in most cases. So, Tampa's got their act together. Jason Light knows what he's doing. The Glazers let him do his job. They're a well-coached team, no matter who's calling the plays. They got the right quarterback. So, you can look at some of these teams and what they've done to turn it around, and you go, okay, this is why they're successful.
You're talking about Tyler Booker, as far as going back to the game a little bit. Anything else stand out for you as a big positive for the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, Saquon Barkley ran for over 2,000 yards last year. He ran for 60-something yards the other day. Like, they shut down the run, and Kenny Clark had a lot to do with it. But I thought, Eziraku played really well. I thought the young guys, Sam Williams, Marshawn Neal, and I thought all those guys played good up front. I mean, I think he had one run of 16 yards, but they didn't have any explosive plays against him. He had the one pass play down the field to Dotson. They played an umbrella look on the back end and challenged the Eagles, and they really didn't challenge them. I think that was really encouraging because that's been a real Achilles heel of the Cowboys, for years now, is the run defense. Jerry talked about it when he traded away Micah. I don't agree with that move, but I mean, get to what he talked about. And their run defense was excellent because that's a very good offensive line. They have the same 4 starters that won a Super Bowl a year ago, new right guard. Other than that, it was the same guys up front, and they shut Saquon down. So I don't know how anybody couldn't be encouraged by that.
What about anything that stood out Cowboys-wise that you thought was negative?
Well, I mean, CD's drops were, inexcusable. I mean, he's an elite player. He's a top 5 receiver. All the way to the final play. He's beating Cooper DeJean down the field. They got the right play called. It's a wheel on the outside. They got a switch route out there, and he drops it. I mean, CD's got to catch that ball 98 out of 100 times. It's perfectly thrown. And maybe it's a different game if he catches that one. But the drops were bad. I don't know.
You know what I was thinking about? Because I've seen this online a little bit, and I know you do the breakdowns. A little bit of criticism of George Pickens' effort in certain areas.
Well, George is, he's not a great route runner. It's not his thing. Like, he's a great jump ball catcher. He's a great guy down the sideline. I mean, the opening drive, it's pass interference against Quinyon Mitchell. And he's, Quinyon's got all over him, draped on him. And that's kind of George Pickens' spot is, go routes, bisecting the numbers in the sideline. And you throw it out there like he comes down with a lot of those big time catches. But he's not a guy that's going to route you up. He's not a guy that's going to necessarily double move you. That's really not his game. He's just a very acrobatic receiver. And sometimes it can look like he's lackadaisical like that, I guess. But that's kind of how he plays the game. But he's a guy, look, I'm not criticizing him, but he's a guy that if he's not getting the ball, like a lot of receivers in this league, they're kind of like that right fielder in T-ball. They're just kind of disinterested, to be honest with you. And so sometimes blocking and some of the things that he's supposed to be doing, it kind of falls away. And that's why Pittsburgh was willing to trade him up, right? And make room for DK.
So no one saw the division like you did. You did Cowboys, Eagles Thursday. Then on Sunday, you did Commanders and Giants. After one good showing from the Cowboys, I think everyone thinks this will be a boat race on Sunday, but I don't know. The Giants might have something. What are your thoughts on the game on Sunday?
Well, the boat race that rarely happens in this league. It happened, to the Dolphins this week, but it rarely happens. I don't think it's going to happen. Even that game on Sunday, like the Commanders had, they had a lot of yards. They had 400 yards of offense. They scored 21 points, and 7 came at the very end. It was a 14-6 game for a long stretch, one-score game. And defensively, while they gave up a lot of yards, they forced 6 holding calls. All right, so that doesn't really show up much. Doesn't show up in sacks and pressures, but they were behind the sticks a lot, Washington. They got off the field a lot. So defensively, I think, and Dexter Lawrence was a no-show. So I don't think that's going to happen again. Like Cooper Beebe's got to get ready. He's going to get challenged this week by Dexter Lawrence. I'm sure that they showed him the film and he's got to play better because he can be a dominant player. But offensively, they were terrible. Like I'm a proponent of playing Jackson Dart. I think the kid's going to be great. I have no reservations about playing him and playing through whatever, like Troy Aikman did, just play through it. But I think Russell's very limited. And I'd be like, he's got to play better. There's no question. The play calling's got to be better than it was. They got to run the ball better. And if they don't, then, the score might get out of hand.
About Jameis time.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's going to go to Jackson Dart.
How'd you start doing the breakdowns? Obviously, we love the breakdowns.
Oh, thanks.
We love the breakdowns, folks.
I was doing a show called The Aftermath in Los Angeles for the NFL Network, and I was doing college games on Saturday and NFL games on Sunday, and I'd get to L.A. late Sunday night, and I'd wake up at 4 a.m, no matter what time I got in, and I'd get into the film room, and I'd watch it with Daniel Jeremiah, DJ. He was trying to beat traffic living way south of Los Angeles, so he would come in. We'd meet at 4:30, get a cup of coffee. We just started watching the games, and it's good sitting in the film with another guy that knows the game and is just as passionate about it as you are. We kind of go back and forth, and I started like let me put this picture, let me put this play out there. This is pretty cool, pretty good design, and it just sort of took off. It just took off from that day, and then I got serious. Like around 2017, I back then I had a flip phone, so I wasn't doing a lot, and then I was like, maybe I should join the technology world and get an iPhone. So I got it. My buddy bought me an iPhone. He's like, you should use this. So he got me out of the flip phone world, got to the iPhone, and once I started putting it out, the guys started following it. It wasn't so much the fans, the players started reacting to it. So I knew I was connecting. So then it got to the point where, I can't just do Mike every week. I can't just do, I can't just do Max Crosby every week, And so then other teams were like, so then it became, I got to do every team in this league. It's not fair. Like every team has good players. Jordan, your former player, Jordan Lewis, now playing the nickel in Jacksonville, was an all-star on Sunday. Had an interception, had a fumble recovery, defended passes against Tet McMillan. Like he was awesome. So you can't watch Jacksonville's defense and not talk about Jordan Lewis, and I don't know that Dallas has replaced him at this point. It's early, but we'll see. But, so now, now you have to watch Jacksonville and Carolina. As boring as it was, you still got to go watch it.
How is your grasp of technology these days?
Well, I got on a Zoom call here.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
The technology thing down.
Today.
Like I have honestly, I've got all the software. I know how to put spot shadows and arrows and all that. I can put all that crap on my screen, but it takes time to do that. And would I rather do 5 breakdowns on the Cowboys offense, or would I rather do one that has all all this, all the bells and whistles. I'd rather do 5.
Just give me the ball. Yeah.
I mean, look, I want people, honestly, to feel like they're in the film room with me watching it. And the technology, I know it can improve what I'm talking about and showcase a player and all that, but I kind of just want the people to have the feeling that they're just sitting in the film room watching it with me, and this is what we're seeing together.
I love it, man. I think it's great.
Thanks.
Blake says, like, after the game, you're the last one up there, and that you'll be breaking that stuff down all night. What were you saying about, like?
Yeah, didn't you didn't go home immediately, right? You went to NFL Network and cut up some tape.
I went over to NFL Films and to watch the game, but
at midnight or 1 in the morning.
Yeah, well, I'm in Kansas City this week, and there's no sense in leaving the game in Kansas City. You're not going to get out of the parking lot for an hour and a half, like most places. So I'll have my computer. It's a late game, finish at 6:30 in Kansas City. So, as soon as the game is over, I'll turn my machine on, and I'll have the 1 o'clock games. I'll start watching the 1 o'clock games in Arrowhead till probably 11 o'clock. Probably, get to bed at 12 and catch the 5:30 flight to Philadelphia. So, but I'll have a chance to watch maybe 4 or 1 o'clock games in the stadium. So anytime I'm out west or doing a late game, I just stay in the stadium and just start watching what happened earlier in the day.
And you're rolling through every game now.
I watch every game. I've watched. It's Thursday. I did finish watching the Carolina Carolina game in Jacksonville this morning. So I did watch all 16 games this week.
How often do Jacksonville, Carolina, does that end up being the Thursday morning game that you finally get around to? It's like eating the broccoli in the back of your fridge.
Yeah. I have a really good relationship with Tony Baselli. We've known each other a long, long time. We talk. I mean, I go to Jacksonville in June to watch him, practice in OTAs, and me and Tony are talking offensive line play for 3 straight hours during practice. And James Gladstone, I think, is a really bright GM. So I kind of wanted to watch him. Travis Etienne played the best game he's played in years, and this Travis Hunter, I think, is going to be dynamite. And so, like, I owe it to him to make sure I get the game in for sure. Carolina, I think they got real issues, but sometimes it takes till Thursday to get it all done.
Did they have this many lightning delays back when Baldy was playing?
I never saw one.
There you go.
I never saw a lightning delay.
Thank you.
I know you're supposed to be serious about lightning and all that. Like, I was a lifeguard, in Long Island, and we had lightning in the summer. Like, I never saw people run out of the ocean. You blow the whistle, you got to go. It's lightning. You could get struck. I don't know. Like, I know it can happen. It can definitely happen. You got to be safety conscious. I get it. But I never saw, in 12 years of playing, I never saw a lightning delay. I never saw a game delayed for any reason. So, and maybe the skies are changing. I don't know.
No, I'm with you, man.
I'm going to go with that.
These guys are always making fun of me because I say they shouldn't be stopping these games for lightning delays. And now I'm saying it because I want the game to end earlier and I want to go to bed.
Yeah, there you go. Get to Baldy's breakdowns.
Yeah. Anyway, man.
Look, the game, I don't know why I know this, but I do. The game stopped at 4:44 in the third quarter. And they came back out 40 minutes later, and it was 24-20 when it stopped, and it was 24-20 when it ended. I mean, it was like you should have just gone to bed. It was a snooze the last 20 minutes.
All the money we could have saved.
Everybody that left or anybody that went to bed, I don't blame you. You didn't miss anything. Nothing happened.
Well, we appreciate your time, sir, and it's very nice to meet you. I look forward to Clayton Adams starring weekly in the Baldy's. I'm just really excited my team hired an offensive lineman to be the OC. This is a dream come true. So excited for Baldy's breakdowns. And,
he did a good job. He did a good job in Arizona. Like, they ran the ball good.
Very fired up.
They do. That team struggled in some ways, but they always could run the football. And they did a lot of different. James Conner had a renaissance when he came from Pittsburgh to Arizona because of it.
You working with Blake again this year? Do we have the sked?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. The season's just starting. I'd love to, do another Cowboy game for sure. So they want me to do a game Thanksgiving Day, Saturdays, playoff games, whenever. Like, I'm ready. When I can get, it's like Ernie Banks said, playing a doubleheader, like nothing's better than that. Like you give me 2 games in a week, like I'm even happier than I normally am when I get 2 games in a week.
I love it.
Well, I hope to see you soon, Baldy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Mike. You bet. All right, guys, be good, man.